So welcome to March and April's edition episode of my series, The Audition Diaries, where I take you through statistics, reflections, lessons learned, all about my auditions and my life being a professionally auditioning actor in the industry, age 22 and soon to be 23, which is actually a bit scary because I want to be playing them 15-year-old roles and it's hard to get seen for certain things, and I just feel like there's a lot of pressure that you can put on yourself to be able to be getting to where you want to get to and be seen for certain things. But I feel like something that's really different at the start of this episode is that I'm actually writing my own stuff. Like, I'm doing practice scenes, but I also have a film mapped out that would be something that I feel like is my casting type, is the kind of footage that I want to get. Like, I think in the previous episode maybe I was like, I want to be getting this certain type of footage. I'm going to be writing that and creating that myself, hopefully, and I've told so many people that I sort of have to follow through with it and push myself to actually do it. But I feel like previously in springtime I have been seen for some cool things, because sometimes in spring they cast for stuff that we'll be filming in the summer. So we shall see, because just because something happens one year, it doesn't mean that it'll happen another year. And then sometimes, like, you have busy years with auditions and like projects, and some years are quiet, and I have to try and sort of make my peace with that. But I put so much pressure on myself, and I'm like, I want to feel like I have had some great projects in the year. Like, I don't want to disappoint myself, and I'm aware that like by the end of March we'll be a quarter of the way through the year, by the end of April we'll be like a third of the way through the year, but actually that still means that we have most of the year left. So I feel like I actually just need to calm down. And I feel like I've heard from so many people that once you're writing your own work, it takes off a lot of the pressure of audition wise, because you're creating the kind of roles and the kind of projects that you want to be cast in. Also, I want to be thinking about how to connect with certain like writer directors of short films. Like, some people say like you might not want to do short films forever, like eventually short films can be a stepping stone into doing like longer projects like features and TV, stuff like that. But like, I think that some short films that I've seen people do have really helped them then be able to be seen for really big film, TV stuff. So I want to be working with more experienced filmmakers and connecting with them. And I know that also lots of people work with people I know, so I want to know the people. I want to be going to networking events, and I want to be seeing what I can do for other people as well, and how I can work collaboratively, because it's not all about exploiting people and trying to emotionally manipulate them into casting me. But I would really like to be doing a lot more projects, and like, I'm partway through March now. I had the opportunity to explore some new writing in a scratch night, and that was really fun, and I just really tried to like really breathe deeply and take it in, because that's why I do what I do, is because I love it. So I never want to lose track of that, and regardless of how auditions are going, I want to be able to find that kind of enjoyment and freedom to just really commit to the choices, trust my instincts, and that's where I'm at. And I am trying to be really proactive. Like, I've contacted loads of different like student film courses and places, so I feel like I am actually quite well connected in the industry. So I feel like there's people who I might work with in the future, and it's just about seeing what happens with the connections I have, and seeing what kind of ways I can be even more proactive and reach out even more and be seen even more, because I think you always have to keep pushing forward and finding new ways to do that. But with that, I'll leave you to my monthly summaries of how the audition process actually goes in March and April. So in March, I taped for 6 different short films and also went to an in-person audition, and I almost couldn't make it to the in-person audition because technically it was group workshop auditions on a day when I had pre-booked non-refundable like family plans, and it was my one day where I had plans I couldn't move that whole month. And I know people say like live when you're acting and like don't put everything on hold just to be free for auditions, but I was, to be honest, it hit me hard because I feel like also like I've had to turn films down because I could take an unpaid film for 3 days, or I could have 2 weeks of paid work, and it's been like confusing to work out because I have flexible work, which means that sort of the days when I'm working is a special occasion because I have such flexible work that I'm not getting shifts all the time. But then when I'm getting acting opportunities, that's also an occasion. Actually, the company was so generous, and like the people there still found a way to be able to see me, which I think is valuable to know, that like on occasions throughout my acting there has been times where like maybe it's an audition slot and I can't make it for the whole time because I'm like booked for training for something else like right after that. So like sometimes I've been allowed to like get my material done earlier on in the time slot and like leave auditions early or something. So I think sometimes people get caught up in needing to be available at the last minute, but sometimes like if they're asking for stuff last minute, they're also willing to have a bit of flexibility with you. So it's something to keep in mind that people don't often always realize is an option. Like I try to present people with solutions and say I could tape for this, I could do like audition for this over Zoom, I could audition for this on these days, like present them with solutions and see what's possible. I then realized that like we all have to sometimes say no to stuff in this industry. Like we can't always, for whatever reason, everyone's had to say no to stuff at some point, and it's never nice, but it's just a part of life. And also I think from speaking to people who are older professionals in the industry, they've pointed out actually that I put so much pressure on myself and like I'm so stressed about the fact that like April is my birthday month and I'm turning 23, but people have told me like in reality that's still so young and I can still play like down to like 16, and that's fine. And like even if I don't get to play like 16-year-old roles, that's fine. Like that didn't happen for me, but there are other roles, and like sometimes people end up booking roles in their 30s and stuff, and that's okay, and everything will be okay. And also I have done short films. Like someone was telling me the other day, like, you've done 7 short films. Like some people would really like to do one, and I think sometimes we can get so in our head that we forget like all of the progress that we've had leading up to this, and it can become like quite like stressful mentally, when realistically like it's fine, it's all fine. And sometimes we have to say no to things, sometimes things get a bit complicated for a little bit, like industry wise, working out how you're going to approach fitting everything in, but it's fine, life goes on. And I'm so grateful for the generosity of older professionals who I've met, like at a scratch night I did. I've learned so much from like really experienced people, like just from observing them, from having conversations with them, and like from going to various different events and meeting people. And I think I've learned the value in meeting people and engaging with people in the industry and seeing what you can learn from meeting people and building connections in person. I think people sometimes end up getting short films and opportunities from meeting people because they know you and then they can trust you to do the work. So I think that's something that I am considering doing, is like connecting with more people personally in the industry and going to networking events and stuff, because I think that would help. But realistically, I've had some great feedback from auditions I've done this like March, and people have said that my auditions are strong. I felt personally within myself that I'm auditioning stronger than I have done like in the past. Like previously I haven't felt so strong in auditions compared to now, where I feel like I'm a professional in the room and I'm exploring a piece of work as a professional in the room, and if it's the right role then it will happen, but if not, I've made a nice industry connection, whereas I feel like otherwise I'd be questioning my ability like a few years ago. So in April I did 3 tapes, which I mean I feel like I've been really incredibly active acting wise, and I don't know if it's partly because sometimes you get tapes which are a quick turnaround and are many pages, and that feels like you're doing a lot more. And also some tapes are different than others. Like I feel like the actors will definitely understand that some are just like 1-2 page scene that you just sort of learn and film and go off your instincts with, and others are like, research this historical event, this is based on a book or a film, and then you're researching that, and then like you might need to learn an accent for it, or you might need to also tape other various different skills that you've had. So some tapes feel like bigger tapes than other tapes. So I feel like that was something that was interesting, and I feel like that's always a big learning curve, and it's always really nice as an actor to be able to really deep dive and delve into stories. Also, I've been going to a lot of networking events, play reading stuff, going to people's showcases, going to like table reads of people's work. Like I've been doing a lot, and I've also been going back to acting class, which I feel like has been so good. Like I feel like it's really helpful in being able to give you lots more ideas of things to think about and how to become that better actor, because otherwise you can feel like you're doing the best tapes you can for your level at that time, and you're like, I did the best I can do in that, but like actually improving what your best is really useful. And I decided that I would just travel and commit to traveling when I can to go to the classes I actually really want to go to. So it's a bit of an intense commitment, like traveling like a few hours each way, but I feel like I gain so much, and it's like really worth doing. Like I feel like if I can go, I would prefer to look back and know that I went to the classes than feel like, oh, I could have gone out of my way to go to a class and I didn't back in the day. Like it's been so helpful, and it's really pushed me, and I feel like the more I go, the more I'll get like comfortable with certain parts that feel like hard to do with the class right now, like preparing scenes for a class and learning that and performing to a new group of people, like becoming comfortable in a new class environment. I feel like you always learn the most, especially in your first section of time in a new class. So it's really exciting, and I'm having a great time. People say have a life outside of the acting, but you can also have a life outside of the auditions and improving and going to class and finding that like we do acting because it like there's such an energy behind it and it's so fun and it's so interesting to learn about people and to meet people and to go to those emotional places. So to be able to do that and take back control and be able to do that in a class is so great. I also turned 23 end of April, and I wanted to be able to do more projects like while I was still 22, just mentally. I guess it doesn't really make that much difference what age I do projects at, but just I had it in my head, and I ended up being a last minute replacement for a student film, which was great to be back on set and filming, and it was a fun scene and I had a great time, and I'm hoping to be able to use that footage as well, showreel wise. So it's been productive. Maybe that's also why I felt like I was quite active in acting, because I was like doing the acting based on my showreel though. I got that like based on my spotlight page. I didn't audition for that because it's last minute replacement, and I don't know if all student films really audition. Some do, some don't. But that was my April. So let me know how your auditions have been and like how the acting's going in the comments, and let's chat.